Hey, wanted to talk to you all about something that's kind of interesting and kind of weird and relates a little bit to what I think some people experience when they have a religious experience. I want to talk about um, what's the best way to put it? Being in a different brain state. Two things. One is sleep paralysis, which I've experienced 4 or 5 times in my life, and then a near death experience. I've had two. Um, when it comes to sleep paralysis, that is nearly inexplicable to try to define that to what it's like to somebody who's never experienced it. What sleep paralysis is literally that part of your brain and all of your body is asleep, but you're conscious. And it's not like a lucid dream. What it is you're awake, but you're not awake. And it's scary because, first of all, it immediately produces a sense of fear because you're not in control and you feel paralyzed. Some people feel held down. Um, and what's happening is you're experiencing the chemicals that your brain produces that put you to sleep and hold you still. The reason why you don't move around and act out your dreams is because your brain is basically giving you anesthesia. Well, not the same thing, but like a paralysis drug. So I can remember in even opening my eyes during this is, first of all, you're scared. A lot of people report feeling another presence in the room. A lot of people think this is also an explanation for what abduction experience is like. And I can tell you that occasionally I have felt not just held down, but felt like I was being pulled up. And that's scarier. Um, and my hands would move. I remember moving and turning from side to side during this happened. It lasted maybe like 5 minutes, and it's really, really freaking creepy to be awake and have your eyes open. And it's very dark in my room, and watching my hand go like this across my body, and then turning kind of to the side and just laying there like I can't freaking move, and then I just fall back asleep. But that experience mentally produces, when you're really stressed out, things can slow down, colors really pop, and your brain is taking in and processing on purpose much more sensory information than it usually does at a normal running rate, because your brain is like a computer and it's like dumping processing power all rammed to paying the fuck attention right now. And that's why, very stressful or horrifying moments in your life can be very, very clear and vivid. Now, I'm not going to divulge too much because I'm not trying to make it sound like it was cool or make it bigger than it was. But there were life changing experiences. I was into certain drugs in my college days, and twice I got a grand mal seizure when taking this particular drug, and that is horrifying. Because this drug was bad. You could forget where you are and what you're doing if you took this, and you could pass out or not really be in complete control of your actions. Is bad news. So having a grand mal seizure, not being an epileptic or anything, is scary because what this drug was doing was spiking my blood pressure so fucking high that my body went into seizure mode, did not have a stroke, basically, is the best understanding I have of that. And I'm not a doctor, and the person told me this wasn't a doctor, so I can't swear to that. But, I got scars on my feet because I was wearing sandals one time. This happened on pavement, and I scratched my feet and my elbows from rolling and flopping around. And during that, that's horrifying because it feels like you're on a roller coaster. And I couldn't see. I was struck blind during this, and it lasts for about 25 minutes. And I was overwhelmed, just absolutely overwhelmed with the sensation that I was about to die. Just fucking, oh my god, I am dying right now. And I don't remember it hurting, but I just remember being just completely out of control of the situation. and not knowing what to do, not being able to move, not being able to speak. Although the second time this happened, I was with a friend of mine, and he told me I was saying really strange things. Now, as I started to settle down and became more aware, I've tried some psychotropic drugs, and I'm fairly resistant to them. I don't know if it's a brain chemistry thing. I don't hallucinate, even taking acid, which I've tried a few times because, college. Again, not trying to say that's cool or like I'm proud of it or anything, but it's relevant to the way this experience happens, where your perception is the major change. And it's the hardest thing to explain. It wasn't that I was seeing things or hearing things that weren't there, but my perception of everything was completely changed. And the only way to describe it is if you heard a really extremely profound experience, maybe it was a religious experience where everything was different and everything had intense, indescribable meaning for not maybe any particular reason. And so I'm coming out of that, and the whole world just looks alien to me, and the colors are everywhere, and there's a light wind blowing, but it sounds like a goddamn tidal wave in my ears, and it feels like the ground is shaking. And the second time this happened, when I was with my friend, he grabbed a hold of me, and he told me, I kept telling him, help me sit up. I'll be okay if I sit up. I got to get the fuck off the ground because the ground's shaking and the wind's blowing in my ear. And we're talking like a 5-mile-an-hour breeze, and the ground isn't moving at all. And when he picks me up and I look into his face, I recognize my friend. But at the same time, it's like looking upon the face of God. He looked 10,000 miles tall. And it was strange, the feeling that I had then. And this is kind of why some people think that the prophets and Muhammad himself were epileptics. Because after a seizure, you're in this fugue and you're flopping around on the ground, and when you come out of it, you're seeing something indescribable and profound and fucking just majestic and insane, and it's something mundane, but what you're seeing, like looking at my freaking Italian friend and his tan face, just smiling like, you're gonna be alright, it's fine. And I'm like a baby, like looking up at fucking something, and you gotta think, that's probably part of what's going on with a lot of religious people, is they're seeing something completely describable. Their brains are releasing chemicals, maybe DMT. It's been speculated that DMT is released when you die, or when your body is under extreme duress, or even when you sleep and have really strong, vivid dreams, that your brain is introducing a natural and extremely powerful psychotropic drug into your brain. And that's probably one of the better explanations. And not only that, but there's an area of the brain that we know how to stimulate that produces that kind of sensation. And that's why these kinds of religious experiences are totally explainable with just in your mind. And it's not because you're crazy, it's because you're entering an unnatural brain state, or not unnatural, but unusual, very unusual brain state, where you are not perceiving the world correctly. You are perceiving it in a very exaggerated and insane way. And it's temporary and it's fleeting. And the way memory works is you can assign, when looking back at your incomplete and fading memory of this event, and maybe start to assign memories and parts to that memory that didn't actually happen or didn't actually look like that. And that's why, eyewitness testimony doesn't matter much in court, because memory is extremely fallible. So the brain, very fallible. And head trauma or drugs or extremely traumatic events, especially seizures, can really fuck with what you see. And these events happened when I was already an atheist, so I didn't assign a religious thing to it, but I thought that was my best way of relating to the really profound divine events that happen to people. Like, there's a story in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, which I've read, where the founder um, was suffering from delirium tremens, quitting alcohol. He's lying on a bed in a sanitarium. And he says the whole room lit up, and he felt the profound, just undeniable presence of God. And he fell to his knees, gave his life to Christ, and promised to try to bring, one way or another, his redemption from that event to other people. And that's how 12-step meetings in general got started, was with that one event. And it could very easily have been he went through a mild seizure and pow, or it could be he made it up. Who knows? So this video has gone a little bit too long. It was a little bit of a ramble, but I really appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think, or if you've had any similar experiences, or if you were a much more religious person than I was when you were religious, or if you are religious. Explain what that's like, and if you related to anything I said. Thanks for watching.